Side, Mississippi Today's political podcast. I'm Jeff Pender, joined today by my colleague, Emily Waxter-Pettis.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Emily, we have a very special guest today. Would you mind doing the introductions?
Happy to. Our guest today is Reena Evers-Everette. She is Executive Director of the Medgar and Merle Evers Institute, which is based in Jackson, and she can tell us more about that. She, of course, is the proud daughter of two civil rights icons, the late Medgar Evers, and her mom is Merle Evers, who is still living. And welcome. We're so glad you're with us here today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
I love the other side.
Well, great.
A lot of things. I love the other side. So
glad to hear it.
Yes.
So this year marks the 100th anniversary of the birth of your father.
Yes.
And there are some events coming up in Jackson to commemorate that and to talk about his legacy. So let's talk about your dad and what he did and what his legacy is.
My dad is my dad. That's the first and foremost thing. And thank you, Emily, for saying the proud daughter, because I am, and I say that all the time. I'm just very blessed to be within that family and to have the parents that I have. And I say have because he's still with me. You know, his legacy is with a lot of us. It's not just our family. It's with all of the citizens, friends, family, activists that said we have to have a better life for all citizens. And that's what my father was driven to do, is make sure that there was equality throughout all. And if there was injustice, that needed to be taken care of, rectified. And we also always have to have equal rights and empowerment to do the best that you can be. And so that's simple, but he was simple, but he was complicated in the sense that he had so many ways about him that drove him and others to make change and to have change even after his death.
Of course, I'm going to hop in here just for a second. I cannot imagine that anyone does not know who your father was. But Medgar Evers, of course, was one of the first field secretaries of the NAACP in the state of Mississippi. And he did this at a time when it was very dangerous to be involved in civil rights activities. He bravely went out into the state starting in the late 50s, right?
Early 50s.
Early 50s, okay.
Early 50s.
And up until his assassination in 1963, he was active in pushing for voting rights and pushing for equal treatment at a time when, again, he faced lots of threats of violence for doing that.
Thank you for that. I don't always talk about my father in his work,
right?
But his work was his life, and so it was integral to our family. And there's things that people don't know. When you said the late 50s and I said the early 50s, right, it's because when he went and enlisted in the war, and he was shipped over to Normandy in Germany, and he saw all of the terror that was going on, but he also witnessed firsthand being able to be seen as an equal amongst the people of France and Germany,
right,
and being able to walk on the streets, being able to go into restaurants, go into stores, and be treated as an equal. And he said that's what America needs to be.
I read one time that he told his brother at the time, I'm going to go back home and fix this.
Exactly.
Is that okay?
And when he came back, they both came back, along with so many Negro veterans at the time, came back and said, we're banding together. We're going to make sure that our voice is heard. And how better will your voice be heard except for in the poll, in votes? And so getting the right to vote was critical and at the top of my father's list. And that's critical now.
Of course.
And so it is a thing that the legacy continues for equality and for empowerment and rights.
I'm curious your take on what do you think you would think of the current state of affairs, so to speak? We see some voting rights under fire. Seems like we see a lot of things under fire these days. What do you think he would think of present day, what's going on?
I think he would put his head down just like I did and shake his head because of so many people dying for the rights that are now trying to be reversed and fighting for additional rights for equality. He would also raise up his head and say, now let's get to work. What are we doing now? Because one thing that reading and about my father in different articles and books, listening to his friends, listening to his colleagues, listening to my mother, my father was a strategist more than anything. I mean, he was a compassionate man, funny as all get out, loved to laugh, loved to joke. He was a big jokester and loved music, but more he loved people, his family, and the community.
Would he still be optimistic, do you think?
He would still have a big thread of optimism, but he was a realist. And I think going into the area of strategy, you have to have that realization of this is what's going on
What
now.
you're up against.
This is the goal that we want to reach. In the middle is the hard part. How are we going to get there? What are we going to do?
I want to talk about your mom a bit as well.
My wonderful mother. I
Yes.
love her.
Yeah.
She's great.
So she's 91 now?
She's 92. This is March. Yeah, 92. She
Okay.
just celebrated her 92nd.
That's great. That's great. And she later in her own life led the national NAACP. And she of course was by your father's side through the work
Yes.
he did here in Mississippi, but she in her own right has been a civil rights leader
She's phenomenal.
as well.
I'm sure you've heard the story, but I'm just going to tell you the story that she recounts during the week of my father's death, especially the night before, is when he was alerted that his time was very, very short. And he, when he came home, of course, they put us to bed. They closed the door to the living room so we couldn't hear anything. And they talked about it and they cried about it. And so he knew that it was almost time because of all the threats that were coming to the house, all the drive-by threats that were coming past our street, people giving him messages. My mother was saying to him, I can't live without you. I can't live without you. I can't go on. And he told her, you're stronger than you think you are. And that stuck with her. And I think it was a couple days later, or maybe a day later, that CBS came down and did an interview with my mother that I just recently saw. And I was just overwhelmed with her composure, but with her determination. And the determination that you see now is what happened then, because she had to go on for him.
I mean, she was a young woman with 3 small children.
30 years old.
Wow.
30 years old. And my brother Daryl was 9 and I was 8, well, 9 and a half. He was there. And then my youngest brother was 3. So she's worked, but she's always worked with him. So
Right.
that's a whole different life and that you have to create and protect. And Mom, you did a fabulous job. But then she felt empowered to be Merle Louise Beasley Evers at the time. And she thrived. Before she was with the NAACP, as chairman of the board, she went back to school in Pomona and got her degree, Pomona College. And then she also worked in the corporate arena with Atlantic Richfield Corporation. And she was one of the California founders of NOW. And she has a plethora of jobs that she's done, but she's always been Mom.
Of course.
And Dad's always been Dad. And that's what I treasure. I just treasure that.
I know many times in the past, your father's assassination recognized as a watershed event for the world. But what we're talking about coming up is going to be more of a celebration of his life of 100 years. Can you tell us a little of this event?
I would love to.
Coming up?
I would love to. And you know, we have done different events regarding his assassination.
Sure.
So the 50th and the 60th. But one thing that my mother wanted to always make sure people understood was his life. And so to understand why he was murdered, not just that he was murdered, but why. And then this is to understand how he lived and how he loved. And so we are celebrating the births. So his birthday is July 2nd.
Okay.
Now, that's real close to July 4th. And so you got to, event-wise, you got to really look at stuff. So
Maybe a little bit early.
yeah, so a little bit earlier. So now it's going to be starting June 26th.
Okay.
And June 26th is Daddy's Daughters. And that's in the evening. And
this is a panel discussion.
This is a panel discussion with a couple of my friends.
Okay.
Friends, children of the movement. And so I am pleased to have Vernon Damer's daughter, Betty Damer. I'm pleased to have Malcolm X's first daughter, Ambassador Atala Shabazz. And it's a possibility one might actually come in by video. So we're waiting to see with that.
Okay.
But it's going to be a great event Thursday night, 6 p.m. at the Jackson Convention Complex.
Okay.
And all of the events that we're going to have are going to be at the Jackson Convention Complex, starting Thursday night, and then Friday and Saturday. We are partnering with Mississippi Votes Action Fund. It's their second Democracy in Action convening. And so we're working together with them. And so there's going to be workshops, but then there's going to be wonderful panels. And I'm excited about that. And so can I tell you a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes,
Absolutely.
please.
So on Friday, I'm not going to tell you everything because you got to come. You got to look.
Gotta have a little suspense here.
Let me give you this. Where you need to look is eversinstitute.org.
Okay.
And it will give you a link to go over to register for these events. And so we're going to have the legacy about my father done by Dr. Michael Vincent Williams, who wrote the book, Mississippi Martyr, Medgar Evers.
Okay.
Then it goes into a panel discussion, and I'm just going to name some names. So
Drop some names here.
Let me just drop it a little bit. So it's going to be moderated by the most wonderful Dr. Ebony Lumumba, we will have on that panel Joy Ann Reed. We will have Ralph Eubanks. We will have, okay, now see, I didn't go in the order I should. Eddie Cloud. You know how your brain kind of sits.
Yeah.
And Ralph, Eddie, and I'm saying by first names, not out of disrespect. And so that's going to be powerful. That's going to be a powerful session. Then we break, and that's kind of like a lunch session. And I didn't tell you we have food, did I? We have food coming.
Yeah, food.
All right.
So we have food coming. And then in the afternoon, we have workshops. And there's so many different types of workshops. We have AI and technology. We have the Seeds of Freedom, talking about philanthropy and the movement. We have wonderful workshops about organizing. And we have workshops about the movement, our veterans, and who worked with my dad.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
There
And so-
will be a lot for people to absorb
Yes, there are.
at these sessions.
Yeah.
And again, we'll repeat it. This is going to be June 26th through the 29th,
Yes.
starting on Thursday.
Right. And you got 2 days just out of me. The next day, I'll give you one big headliner.
Okay.
Stacey Abrams.
Okay.
Oh, great, great.
So she's going to be in.
Yeah.
And then after that, I mean, we have Pulitzer Prizers, Anna Wolf.
I think we met her.
You think you know her?
We know.
Oh, okay. Jerry Mitchell. You might know her.
We know him as well.
Okay. Yep. And we have other people
Great.
that you have to be there to see.
Okay.
And so then we do a birthday party Saturday night. So
Great.
it's a birthday concert. So our headliner is Leela James. And then we have Tisha Campbell coming in.
Okay.
And to really set it off is our Mississippian Rita Brent.
Oh,
Who's going to
fun.
bring it home. And not bring it home, she's going to be there. She's the hostess with the mostest and the comedian.
This is
So
all at the
This is all at the
convention
convention center.
center. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
That sounds like a lot
Yeah.
of fun. Little side note here. What kind of music did your father like?
Everything.
Everything. Okay.
Everything. I could say my parents' favorite song is Misty Blue,
Okay.
but our favorite song between he and I was Chubby Checker
Uh-huh.
and James Brown.
Would y'all put on records and
Oh, we
dance in the
would
living
twist
room?
all
That
night.
kind of thing? Okay. That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Well,
And that's
an
what we
event.
want to have fun.
The whole weekend, the Medgar Evers at 100 weekend is
Mhm.
that's the overarching the Daddy's Daughters.
Yeah.
That's going to kick it off
That's gonna
Thursday
kick-
evening.
That's
okay.
correct.
Okay.
Then we finish on Sunday.
and
We-
finish
we-
on Sunday.
Yeah,
Okay.
because faith was a very big part of my
Sure.
sermon. Yeah, so we do Medgar Evers Sunday.
Great, and this is open to the public.
Yes. Yep.
And you said more information on this can be found at eversinstitute.org.
Institute.org. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay.
And we want everybody to come.
Sure.
Everybody to come. So we need you to register. So go there so you can. And we just want to see you and have fun. And you get to know a little bit about my dad.
Sounds like a great event. It's
Thank
really, really interesting, really informative. Yeah. Is there something we're not asking you that you would just really like to talk about right now with your parents, their legacy, the state of Mississippi, kind of how how you assess where your home state started early? It's just say early in your life and where it is right now.
You know, I will say this. I wasn't, when we were taken away, and I say it like that because my brother Daryl and I didn't want to leave, but the threats and everything were coming still. As I got older in my teens, I didn't think I would ever want to come back to live. And even though we came back every year for my Uncle Charles' Homecoming. And he's a character in himself and just a mover and shaker. So I just want to put a shout out to him. There's one other shout out I want to do, and it pertains, but it doesn't pertain to this. But I have to say happy birthday to my daughter, Campy, who passed away 5 years ago.
Okay.
But she's a kick in the pants. And I know that she and my dad are up there just having a good time. That's all I can say. So I just have to say happy birthday, baby girl. Mississippi, Jackson in particular, we are almost at a place where it was in the 50s, almost, in turning back rights and taking back rights, should I say. But it's not just Mississippi, it's the state. It starts all the way at the top of our unions. And I have to tell you, I'm very proud of Mississippi though, because in order to have the 2 Mississippi museums to be the first state-run museums that have a civil rights museum in it, I'm very proud of that. We just need to continue with the openness of the truth of our history. And that's just one piece. Because if we don't know the true history, as much as we can get from the ones who lived it, we're going to go ahead and repeat mistakes that we don't need to. And that's what I don't want to continue to see happen. And so when you ask me what else is there, we have to really pull together and realize that we haven't really made it like we thought we had. There's certain things materialistically, but the mindset, we still need to work on everyone to be a unified force. I sit here with so many of you that your hearts are unified, your heads are unified. We just need to continue to help others be unified in the fight for human rights.